Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. I am doing this backwards. I'm actually checking my mic now. Hello, you guys. It's me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. Welcome, my astrological lovers. Welcome to this episode. If you are watching this via podcast or on YouTube or on X, welcome. Get ready for an exhilarating week. We are here to do the astrological transits of the week, and we got some celestial shifts happening. We got a powerful full moon in Sagittarius lighting up our skies. Very well. I'm going to say it looks very positive for us. We have Jupiter, it's making a bold mood in Gemini. We got our happy solar return to all my Geminis. Happy birthday to you. And stay tuned. We're going to dive deep into this cosmic events and what it means for you, what it means for the collective, and how we can work with this celestial energy. All right, so let's explore the stars together. And yes, okay, so let's get started. I am going to do, I have Patreon, first of all, and second of all, no, first of all, please subscribe, like, and comment, and or download the episode if you can. If you are listening to this via podcast, downloading it would be great, or follow my episodes on podcasting. And yeah, if you can rate it, that would be even better. Okay. And if you are watching this via YouTube or X, yeah, please don't forget to follow and subscribe, like, do your due diligence, share. Everyone knows what they should be doing nowadays. So I'm just asking you to help a sister out. Okay. Now let's get on to I was going to say Patreon video connected to this video is going to be some tarot reading. I'll get deep into tarot when it comes to Jupiter and Gemini, and I'll do some tarot on the full moon. Okay. So yes, now let's talk about the sun. Today is 5:20 and it is Monday. I already talked about the sun. I already talked about the sun entering Gemini already in last week's video, in last week's live, but we will do it again for the people in the back. Okay. Now I'm going to quickly go over it. And it entered Gemini at 5:59 a.m. this morning. Gemini season is the best season for me other than Cancer season. I am a Cancer sun, but I love Gemini season because I have a Venus in Gemini, I have a Mars in Gemini. So that means I have a lot of friends who are Geminis. Okay. So I'm here for it. And I'm also here for the social interaction. And that is what you get. You get a lot of social interaction, a lot of communication. And, Venus and Gemini, me personally, I love to communicate. I love communication, clear communication, increasing communication. This is also dealing with networking, social media, social gatherings, and also wanting to learn and learn from others. You're going to get all that with this sun in Gemini. There's also, with learning, a sense of curiosity. Curiosity kills a cat for some people, but curiosity also brings some knowledge for a lot of people. And Gemini season is also going to bring a lot of versatility and adaptability. It is a mutable sign, air sign, bringing that extrovert, socializing, communicative energy. Also, the energy of moving fast, a lot of fast energy. Okay, with the Gemini, and duality happens. Also, I've discussed in the last video how this is also connected to because Gemini wants everything. It does have that duality, and the twins and siblings, and the dark and light, and the underground, and the underworld, and the world above. You have all those elements with it, but you also have the energy of just putting your hands in every pot. Okay, like, I want to do it all, I want to be it all, I want to have it all. And that's what you have with Gemini season. Hence why in June we have gay pride, because the rainbow does represent Gemini, because it's like, I love all the colors. Okay, I love all the people. Today I'm bisexual, tomorrow I'm straight, the next day I'm gay. That's basically Gemini energy, whether you agree with it or not. I'm just telling you, this is what it is. It's here to stir it up, because it definitely wants it all. So yeah, duality, a balance, because you do have that duality. So like work and play, because Gemini again wants to do it all. So yeah. And the Lovers card represents In tarot, the Lover's card represents Gemini, and the card is associated with highlighting relationships and choices and decisions, communication and duality, and indicates when you have a decision and maybe being aligned with someone who has your true values, or partnership with someone who has the same values, and also the need for clear communication and clarity with communication. So yes, also Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. So again, you have this fast-paced moving, and what you do around your community and your neighbors, and yeah, your neighborhood. All that is going to happen this season. Not going to happen, but themes that are going to be heavily discussed during the season. You guys, I turned off one of my lights. I thought the lighting was better. I don't know. I feel like that's like too blown out. So we shall see. Okay, this is with the light. This is without the light. And also I have the windows here. So I took off a light. Let me know if you guys think it's better or not better. And I have like lashes over here. Cause I was like, ooh, child, it's too long, too much. Yeah, anyway, so also you be ready for the pranks. Okay, get ready for that. Focus on media and technology in the news. Educational themes will be happening with the news because you're dealing with early education, anything that's lighthearted, because it's very superficial kind of energy. It doesn't want to get too deep. And anything dealing with intellectual, creative, um, just multifaceted kind of energy. Okay, a lot of communication, so a lot of broadcasting, a lot of news, a lot of anything dealing with correspondence, debates, anything dealing with communication across the board. Okay, is what you're gonna get. Okay, so now the same day, which is today, the moon will be entering Scorpio at 3:34 p.m. I'm doing this at 2:35 p.m. So in an hour from now. And Scorpio moon is such an intense moon, right? So I'm gonna just explain the good and the bad with the when I discuss the moons, because the moons move really fast and they're gonna hit a lot of planets and have different relationships, and hence why the moon is a ruler of Cancer, which is moody. So yes, so there's emotional depth happening when you have a Scorpio moon. There's intense feelings, there's introspection happening, there's transformation, there's healing, a lot of discussions of psychology and passion. Also, there could be some jealousy, overly intense, too emotional kind of energy. Also, there's secretive energy happening and mysteriousness happening with this. It's very fixed too, and wants power and control emotionally. So you can have that happening. Also, dealing with anything taboo emotionally, like the secrets, the skeletons in the closets kind of thing. Okay, so get ready for that intense moon, and the moon rules over our emotions, our subconscious, and our intuition. Also, the relationships with our mother and female relationships, anywhere you feel safe. So that moon energy, all that is going to happen, and being fixated or being obsessed with your mother, or being obsessed with safety in the home, all that could be happening with the moon in Scorpio. Okay, now on the 23rd, that moon is going to be entering Sagittarius. And when it enters Sagittarius, I don't know, you guys, do you want me to share my screen here actually? Let me know if you want me to share my screen, if you like it when I show the chart. And actually, I'm thinking like, let me just do it. Danyell, do share the chart, darling. Okay, here we go. Now, where'd the chart go? Ah, there it goes. Okay. I don't know why it just did that. That was weird. Okay. So, yeah, so you have look at welcome Gemini season. That's what we have here. And then the moon will be going into Sagittarius on the 23rd, and on the 20th it was here in Scorpio. Also, before I get into everything else, I just want to say, remember, we have all these planets in Taurus, and look at these. These are conjunct, meaning that they're together, but a lot of Taurus themes here. And I wanted to say, I forgot to talk about the P. Diddy incident. And P. Diddy is, if you didn't know, he had a video out with Cassie, and it gave us tangible evidence of everything she said. And get ready for that with Mercury in a sign Taurus here is going to give us tangible evidence, hardcore evidence. You can't deny it. It is in our face. You can touch it. You can feel it. It's there. Okay. Nothing that's just like hidden or just very clear and simple kind of energy is what you get with this Taurus. Now, we'll discuss these planets moving on with the week, but just know that these planets are in a sign Taurus, and there's still a sense of comfort and laziness and food and just really the feels and the sensory music and all that stuff, really basking and all that. Did you have any gatherings, or were you at home and you were just eating the best food? You were at the best restaurant? Are these things happening for you currently? Well, that would make sense with all this Taurus energy, or maybe unexpected energy and surprises with your finances. Okay. Now, yeah, so moon enters into Sagittarius. Now, quickly, that moon is about to if you see here, it's going to be a full moon, which we will discuss. But a regular moon in Sagittarius is very optimistic, very positive, wants to have a venture, emotionally wants to get out of the house and do stuff and have some freedom. And again, wants to learn at home, maybe have deep discussions about philosophy at home, maybe a little over optimistic, maybe a little restless, maybe a little impatient, maybe wants to overcommit to things, or there's escapism. Also, the energy of being very truthful and honest and very blunt, because it wants to help. Yes, so be ready for that with the Sagittarius moon. As I sip my water. So you may be feeling that earlier in the morning, because that moon moves into Sagittarius around 1:24 a.m. And then now we can talk about this Venus conjunct in the sign Taurus. Venus is conjunct Jupiter in the sign Taurus. It's going to be 29 degrees. 29 degree is a Leo degree, and it's actually at the very end, moving into the next degree. And it's very big energy, like bam, everyone look at me, I'm on the stage. I'm here. And then you have Jupiter. And so Jupiter is going to make it even larger. Now, this also could represent Leo, which is like a leader, or like a fame, or a monarch, or some type of entertainment kind of energy, is what you have with that 29 degrees, which represents Leo. And it's in the sign Taurus, right? So Taurus is really going to give us the energy. This is what the Taurus is like, the energy of it. How can I explain? Taurus is giving us all the themes of it, but it's in the house of Jupiter and Venus, right? And Jupiter is abundance, it's positive, it's very outgoing, it's overcommitting, it's fat and expensive. And Venus is like, I'm here for the love. What do I naturally attract? Let's talk about aesthetics. Let's talk about having balance. Let's talk about relationships, right? And yes, and also socializing, right? So you can have some huge, big socializing when it comes to your values, because Taurus represents your values, or your body, your physical body, or anything tangible, or tangible items, or maybe really going out to eat, or maybe shopping and spending a lot of money when you have a conjunct. Now, when things are conjunct, then you have it not just conjunct, but it's just like conjunct, you have good and bad. It's like doing too much. Okay. So, like, loving relationships, like, oh my gosh, I love you to the moon and back, like really going over the top, or it's really harmonious and blissful. And then also, Venus also attracts things naturally. So you could be attracting a lot of money, okay, and resources, because that Taurus energy is resources. It represents the bank, it represents finances. Oh, and also it's 29, and 29 I said is Leo degree, and that could be gold. So you could be like receiving some abundance of gold. Okay, like who's going to Cartier? Let me know, I want some of that. There's aesthetics and beauty. So really beautifying something, or being around a great sense of beauty, like an art museum, and maybe going out to the art museum, and then also going on a date, and then also eating great food and getting a great massage. Like all that could be happening. There's expansive and growth and optimism. Okay. Now, on the negative side of Jupiter being conjunct Venus is that you can overindulge. You could be lazy. You could be spending too much money. You could be overconfident and overcommitting and overdoing. I know it's not Mars, but it is still a sense of just overdoing, because you're just like, I can do it all. I can have it all. I can achieve it all. Yes. So possessiveness too, or just, and Taurus is a fixed energy. So it's very stubborn and just being overly stubborn and really wanting something. It's very a material energy, Taurus. So it really wants to, again, like I said earlier, with the P Diddy giving us tangible evidence in the sign Taurus. So Taurus is going to want the physical things of something. So like I have to touch it, I have to feel it in order, especially with that Venus, in order to have it. So just a lot of like receiving and getting. So yeah, so be careful. There's a fine line with the energy. Now let me bring it back up here. I wish it would be easier way to uh, shift back from the screens anyway, but I want to look at this and see what else, because okay, so Jupiter in the sign Taurus, Venus in the sign Taurus. Yeah, okay, because Taurus is the ruler of Venus, right? So depending on your chart, where you have this in the chart, it will probably be really big. So like this, if you're a Gemini rising, right? This will be really huge in your 12th house. So maybe really buying a lot of tarot cards, or really like maybe going on a spiritual retreat. Maybe it has something to do with resources as well, but just be aware of that. Now, Jupiter is conjunct at the same time that Uranus, so there is that energy of like unexpected surprises, good and bad. So be aware of that, or maybe breaking free and really wanting that freedom, because these two planets don't want to be held down, they want their freedom. At the same time, there's big love here. So yeah, you do have all that energy happening at the same time. So get ready for that. But I think there could be a lot of self-love, like a lot of like self-care, and like I said, a massage, or like going to a spa, or something with your self-esteem, and major relationship things, and finances, increasing financial prosperity. Not that long ago, these two planets were conjunct bigger, and I did have, my husband had, I said this last week, like with the taxes, like, and maybe this is more positive. Okay. Yeah, so also a lot of pleasure. Venus is giving us a lot of pleasure, especially when Taurus is at home in Venus. So a lot of huge pleasure energy. Yeah, so like if you're into like comfort food, this may be for you. Okay, so that is what we have on, what day is that? That is on the 23rd. And oh, also we have Venus is going to sextile. Venus is also going to sextile Neptune. Also, again, 29 degrees. Sextile is positive. However, it's not like the conjunct is strong. We're not going to have to do any work. That sucker is going to be here. We're going to feel it. It's going something, you're going to feel it. Where sextile is like it's in the sky, it's out in the universe, but you have to use it. So like God gave us the good weather. Are you going to go outside and enjoy the weather? You can go to the beach, or are you just going to be at home and just not do anything with the good weather? So sextile is still very positive. It's just that you have to do the work to really fulfill the needs of what this aspect can do for you. So when you have things sextile, and when Venus is sextiling Neptune, and Neptune's in the sign Pisces, and it's just the same thing. So just Pisces on Pisces, right? You have Neptune and Pisces is very dreamy, very creative, very romantic. Also, photography, pictures, things you cannot touch. So it's like opposite. So you have the Pisces where you don't have to touch it. You just feel the feels, okay? And you have Taurus where it wants to feel it and touch it, and it wants it tangible, and it's way more realistic than Pisces. Now these two energies are working together. Reality versus the dream, okay? It's working together. So like dreaming in love and having empathy, because Neptune is very about the collective, and it's very compassionate, and Venus is all about love. So very creative, very inspiring. There's a spiritual connection, especially with that Neptune and Pisces, and Venus is like, I'm here for it. Yes, I want to support you. I love this. A lot of pleasure and sensuality you have with this energy, and that is on the 23rd. Now, as I change my chart here, let's go on to the next day, which I think, oh, well, yeah, it's actually the full moon here. It's actually not the next day. We're still on the same day. A lot of stuff is happening, okay, on this day. So now you have the full moon, and the full moon is in the sign Sagittarius. Now, whenever you have a full moon, they are opposing, the moon is opposing the sun. So you have this huge opposition here, and it usually causes a very big emotional energy, right? Because the sun and the moon are not seeing eye to eye. It's like a seesaw. You know, the ego is up right here, and then the emotions are down, and then the emotions are high, and the ego is low because the sun represents your ego, right? Also, it could be like masculine and feminine because the sun represents masculine, the moon represents feminine, the moon represents internal, the sun represents external. So you have that, and it's doing a seesaw effect. It's not seeing eye to eye, it's opposing, complete opposite energy. Now it's in 2 degrees. 2 degrees is a supreme degree, right? It's very godly. Also, it's representing Taurus, again, tangible energy. Even though the signs are not, sorry, I just hit the mic and it's connected to the camera, but even though it's not in the sign Taurus, the sun will be in the sign Gemini, and the moon will be in the sign Sagittarius. It's still 2 degrees. So there is this, maybe some finances, maybe some money, maybe something dealing with the earth or food or stability, anything dealing with luxuries. Also, singing in your voice could be a big part of this full moon. Now, this could impact our mutable signs, right? Because you're dealing with that Sagittarius mutable energy. You're dealing with that Gemini mutable energy. So Virgos are also a part of that, and Pisces, you're also a part of that. Now, whenever there is a full moon and it's in a masculine sign, I feel like it affects the feminine signs. So on my earth and water signs, you would feel it more. So just be aware of that. The energy of the full moon illuminates a lot of things, because now it's realizing time, and it's time to release, and it's a time to forgive. Okay, release the anger, forgive. I said that twice. But that's usually what the full moons are about, releasing and forgiving. There, it's a climax of the lunar cycle. So at the beginning, you have your manifestation, and as it comes, as the cycle of the moon goes halfway, now it's time to release, because you just made a manifestation. You want to bring in something new, release the old. Okay, also just remember to forgive, and release. Okay, that's usually what you have on a full moon. Now I find that this full moon is somewhat positive, may not be as emotional. Well, one, because you're in these signs that are air and fire, not that emotional energy, very masculine signs, very external. And then also it's trining Pluto, and trining is positive, so positive. Okay, but before we get in that, anytime you have a full moon in Sagittarius, you have the truth, and you have clarity, you have expansion, optimism, honesty, which is again with the same with truth, but adventure, a sense of adventure, being very open, and for things around the world or things out of your world, or culturally, philosophy happens here, religion. These are the things, maybe even adventure, right? So you have all that, and when it trines Pluto, let's get in. Well, oh, before I get there, let me just say some rituals, because I love to discuss some moon rituals. Anytime you have a full moon in a sign Sagittarius, you maybe want to explore, maybe you want to do something adventurous, maybe go on a hike or do something at night with this full moon. It's not an eclipse, so you can go out and enjoy the full moon. Charge your crystals. Go ahead and do that, and yeah, maybe even light a candle before the full moon, not after, but before. So like today, the 22nd, light a candle, because you are talking about it's a fire full moon. So that will really work well. And light a candle on releasing and forgiveness on something, or maybe it's a Sagittarius you need to forgive. Okay, or this adventure that you did and it didn't work out, or someone was too honest and too blunt, it hurts your feelings. So do that. Anytime you journal, it's a great time to journal for a full moon. A bonfire works during a full moon. Meditating, visualizing, and being very optimistic and thinking about the bigger picture when you're meditating or when you're visualizing. Gratitude also works with anytime there's a full moon, because you want to be thankful, because you're also releasing and forgiving. Okay, learning and teaching something during this full moon, that's great ritual because it is about learning. Sagittarius energy is all about learning and also wants to teach and wants to bond the collective together. Now, the tarot card associated with Sagittarius is the Temperance card. And anytime you have a Temperance card, it's all about moderation and healing. Okay, moderation and healing. I love Sagittarius energy because they want to they're very optimistic, and there's great abundance, and just a lot of sense of joy and happiness, and very social energy. At the same time, you got to learn when to say, okay, enough is enough, let's calm down, let's rest, let's practice moderation, and also healing and blending a lot of the elements because it wants to bring the collective together. Also, there could be something dealing with law, because Jupiter Sagittarius represents law, because it wants to glue everything together. That's why there's religion and ethics and law connected with Jupiter. Okay, so yeah, just remember going down the middle path with this full moon. Okay, so releasing and going down the middle path. Now, it trining Pluto here with that 2 degrees again in Pluto, and Pluto is retrograding, and Pluto is the planet of transformation. It's the planet of psychology. It's the planet of the taboo and the darkness. There's power and obsession here. However, this is very positive. Trine is very, very positive. So this full moon of releasing is probably going to heal a lot of people. There's going to be some psychological healing or transformation happening. I find it to be very positive. I love going down in the deep darkness and pulling out the dirt and pulling up the roots to have some healing and really some psychological insights. Okay. Also, you could be dealing with something that's dealing with social. Your Pluto is in the sign of Aquarius, so maybe there's some forgiveness here with these protesting, because that is a huge Pluto and Aquarius happening. But there is going to be some release with this element. Now, when you're dealing with the collective, personally, dealing with something personally is different from like the news in the world, which is dealing with Pluto and Aquarius. Makes me just think of the protests in colleges, any type of form of protest. I think there is a protest in Iran. I know the president just passed, and that makes me think of this Pluto retrograding in Aquarius. Aquarius does represent air and flying. Helicopters, unexpected deaths is more Uranus, which is Uranus is in the sign Taurus. For some reason, I feel like this is Pluto, though. Pluto and something with Mars. That's just my intuition. I didn't look into anything with Iran and a president dying, but I think this was more planned, and I don't have any evidence, so I'm not using this Taurus energy. It is unexpected for us, which is unexpected, but I find that this may have been a setup. So, but Pluto represents power. I don't know anything about Iran and the government, so I'm just going off of what I immediately felt when I heard the news. I don't know anything about the system and how it's working, but Pluto in Aquarius makes me feel like it's something with that, especially with the air travel. Okay. Anyway. But sorry, that's just running off on a tangent. Back to the positive full moon. It's trining Pluto. Very positive, you guys. There's going to be some depth, some deafness, not like dying, not like not hearing, deepness, right, and expansion, and also there's freedom, because Aquarius represents that freedom here and doesn't want to be held down. So freedom and innovation also you get with this, and it's working really well with our emotions, working really well with this ego and the body, and things that you're trying to achieve physically. So a lot of psychological insight, a social progression also you get with this. Now, this represents Pluto. To me, represents the Judgment card in tarot. So it's like, what is your calling? What are you here to do? And I wonder if this releasing of this full moon is here to be like, come on, there's an awakening here. What are you meant here? What are you here to do? Okay. I think there'll be a lot of not a lot, but there'll be some sense of problem solving with the healing, and just opportunities of empowerment, because Pluto does represent power. and empowerment too. So whenever you have Pluto trining, I'm like, everyone go out in those streets and get it going. Okay, have it work for you, because Pluto is very small, but it's a very, very powerful planet. And for us to have this full moon and it's working well with the full moon, that is great. Now, whenever we have a full moon, I look at what's the ruler of this full moon, and it's Jupiter. And Jupiter at the time is still 29 degrees in Taurus, and is sitting next to that beautiful Venus, what we just discussed. So there's a lot of love and optimism here with this full moon. So I find it to be very positive, and it's a full moon. Full moons are very emotional. So I just think it's going to work. Now, remember that Jupiter is conjunct at Uranus at the same time, and it conjuncting at Uranus could be some surprises too, emotionally, and there needs to be releasing. But remember, Pluto is there and it's got our back. So this is going to be a great healing situation. Okay. Now, as we continue, then we have Venus will be entering Gemini, and it is really happening that same day at 1:30 p.m. So when you have Venus entering Gemini, all the things that I mentioned earlier about Gemini is also connected with this Venus and Gemini, with the sun entering Gemini. Gemini is very communicative, it's very social. Venus is here to socialize, right? So get ready to have social events that are dealing with dialogue. So like if you go to a workshop and everyone's talking, or you maybe going to see your favorite speaker that you love. This is what Venus and Gemini is all about. Also, Gemini energy is all about networking, or social media. So maybe socializing and networking, or going to a social media event where it's aesthetically pleasing, with sense of talk or radio or broadcasting, right? Curiosity and learning, and loving to learning new things, learning and in a comfortable environment or in a beautiful environment, that could be happening. Remember, there's versatility with Gemini. So loving different people, loving different adventures. Loving different ideas, okay, being very versatile and open. There is a sense of flirtation. People think because I have a Mars and Venus and Gemini in my natal chart that I am very flirtatious, or that I want multiple men or date multiple people, and I am complete opposite of that. And that could be the sun and the moon placements. However, with that said, Gemini energy is very playful and very flirtatious. It's very youthful energy. So attracted to youthful things, attracted to fun, attracted to flirting, or maybe more people would be flirting with you. And yes, so what else do we have? Being attracted to people who are smart, to intellectuals, people who are very communicative, very clear in their communication. Makes me think of Russell Brand. Russell Brand is someone who's very Gemini. I didn't even look him up, but when I heard him, when he had his podcast for the first time, I was like, oh, he's major Gemini, you know? So yeah, tech savvy energy, just being attracted to someone who's into tech. Makes me think of I Justine. I think she's a YouTuber, and she does all these like technology reviews, and just loving watching her videos, right? At home, in the comfort of your home, and eating a great meal. That is a Venus and Gemini kind of energy, right? So just looking at technology with communication. So like if she is talking about this new satellite radio, and you can hear the news, I don't know, something like that. That is what you get with that. What else we have? Oh, flexibility with your values, lightheartedness too. Again, open minded. Oh, not being committed, because the Gemini doesn't really want to be held down too. So just like not being committed with socializing and with your loves and all that stuff, right? And really having a joy with learning. Now, some negative things is that you could be superficial and not really want to deal with the energy and hang out with a bunch of females who wants to be deep, and that's what you get with Venus and Gemini. Also, there's inconsistency with Venus and Gemini. It's like, no, I want change. Why are we doing the same old thing? And there's restlessness with Venus and Gemini, indecisiveness, gossip, and rumors. The women will be gossiping. Okay. The men acting like women will be gossiping. Okay. Any type of feminine circle, feminine socializing, be aware of the gossip because you are communicating, which is very positive, but sometimes it's over communicating. And then that over communicating is talking too much. And then there is what you have gossip. Okay. Manipulation too, overthinking, dishonesty, lies also goes with that. Because there's flirtatiousness happening, there could be a sense of insecurity and jealousy happening with people who are like, what the hell is wrong with you? I know Venus is in Gemini, but why is it not affecting me? Why is it affecting you? You could be having that, okay? Superficial connections too, because it's like, I just want to have fun. Remember I said Venus and Gemini wants to have fun? Well, guess what? I just want to have fun. So why are we even talking? Let's just have our one night stand and move on. That could be happening. Some trust issues, over socializing, restless mind. What else do we have here? Yeah, just be aware that Venus and Gemini could cause burnout, like over socializing. All my Sagittarius placements, be aware of that. Yeah, so yeah, and then maybe too charming. Okay. Yes, so that is what you have when Venus enters Gemini, and when Venus gets affected by planets that it will hit. Yes, those will be the negative parts, but the positive side is learning to love, intellectual energy, and clear communication. So, yes. Now, also, that day is that Jupiter is going to now sextile Neptune, and that's going to happen officially at 2:44 p.m. But you will be feeling this all around that full moon. And again, that's expansion with compassion, expansion with your spirituality, expansion with things that are not like making sense, but you feel it in a good way. Huge creativity. Maybe there's optimism with your insecurities because Neptune and Pisces can tend to be insecure or have some cloudiness and some rose colored lenses energy to it. But there's optimism there, and there's abundance and love in using your intuition. Spiritual awakening, spiritual growth, creativity, imagination. What else do we have? Generosity. Jupiter loves to be generous, and Neptune in Pisces is here for the collective. So you have that a lot of healing and wellness. Solitude energy is going to be maybe bigger than ever, and but it's going to be working really well with you. This is a great day to get a tarot reading, especially you want a tarot reading on your finances because Jupiter in Taurus does represent that finances and your resources. And that Neptune in Pisces is going to work with that, and it's going to explain it based off the intuition and what the cards are reading and what's God telling you. Ideals and dreams could be happening with this, and financial opportunities. Okay. So now let's go into the 25th of May. And what you have, why I'm saying Venus, is because Venus is going to trine Pluto. Venus is going to trine Pluto. This actually happens in the morning at 4:16 a.m. Okay. So it really happens at 1 degree. So this is a little bit after. This is at 7 a.m., but it happens at 4 a.m. And it's okay. You're going to still probably feel it when you wake up in the morning, depending on when you wake up, because then, the next day it does move to the next degree. But anytime it's 0 degrees, you're feeling it. Okay. So you do have that on the 23rd, on the 25th. And on the 25th, the trine again, great energy. It's very positive this week, you guys. Okay. Great energy. It's going to work with you, and it's just going to fall in your lap. Venus, the planet of love, in the sign Gemini, love with communication, love with words. Okay. Love with your community, love with your neighbors, socializing with your neighbors. It's going to bring some healing. Now, these both are air energies. So, like Aquarius is air, not like, but Gemini is air, Aquarius is air. So there's a lot of communication and socializing here. Could be dealing with a lot of intellectual energy. Also could be dealing with the element of, I was going to say travel, but that's not really what I was thinking. Air, communication, networking too. Okay. Groups and friends, big with this. Okay. Pluto is going to bring the healing though. It's going to bring the transformation in love, deep connections, intellectual stimulation, empowerment, because Pluto is all about power and being very authentic and honest. Yes. Very great, and it could be intense, but in a good way. Okay. Yes. What else do we have with Pluto? Pluto also represents that money, right? The power of the money, and there could be some natural attraction here. You attracting the powerful and finances there too. Now, I mean, the only reason I wouldn't say money as much is because we're dealing with Aquarius and Gemini, not like a money zodiac sign, but Pluto does represent some money, and Venus does attract money too. So okay, so you do have that, but very creative inspiration, especially when it comes to the intellect. So work with that energy. Very positive, okay? It's something with communication, something with socializing, something with your friends, something with a network, something with a big group that is happening. Also, maybe even loving the humanitarian side of things, and maybe like having a social that day on the 25th, being socialized with a protest, but it's a very positive protest, but it's working with you. Okay. So, yes. Now, the moon will be entering the sign Capricorn on the 25th. That's hard work. Okay. A responsibility, discipline, maybe at home, you're very ambitious, you're very goal orientated. If there's something you need to get done far as your work and your career and your public image, this is the time to do it. Okay. It will be in uh Capricorn. I always like to know until the 28th. Okay. So March 25th to the 28th, this is the time to get it done. Okay. Emotionally, you're going to be resilient. Emotionally, you're going to be thinking long term. Emotionally, you're going to be probably a workaholic. So you don't be too of a workaholic, but really focus on the goals. And moon in Capricorn energy is very cold emotionally, so that's why it's great to work with work, but don't be too rigid, don't be too inflexible, don't be too pessimistic. Okay. Just do the goal setting and planning, and when it's time to stop working. Okay, because that Capricorn moon will keep working, but it's very positive far as work and goals. Now, the big thing this week also is that Jupiter enters Gemini, and is going to enter Gemini that same day, the 25th, and is going to enter it at 4:14 p.m. I did a whole video on this, and I also did the horoscopes on that. So I want you guys to go check out the horoscopes on this Jupiter entering Gemini. I did some predictions as well. I've also discussed some historical things that we can look for in the future, but I will briefly explain it for the people in the back, for the newcomers. Okay, hold on one second. But I would tell you that that video is way more detailed. So go ahead and check out my Jupiter enters Gemini episode. Okay. Now, for you guys who are lazy and you're like, no, I want to hear, I'm here. I'm already here. Just tell me. I'll quickly go over some themes. Okay. Jupiter in Gemini. Jupiter is all expansion and it's big. And right now it's in the sign Taurus. So a lot of energy about our finances, our money, and the land and food. All that is what we have been currently going through this year. A lot of bread making. I'm speaking for myself, okay? A lot of bread making, a lot of laziness, a lot of just let's enjoy food and comfort, or spas, or aesthetics. Yes. Now we're entering Gemini. It's going to be big for as like broadcasting, gossip, anything dealing with communication across the board. Okay. When I say communication across the board, I'm talking about the news. I'm talking about newspapers. I'm talking about emails. I'm talking about written letters, telephone calls. Okay. Communication across the board, huge. When Jupiter enters Gemini, it's going to be there for a year. It always happens for a year. It retrogrades too, but it's going to be there for a year. So you guys get ready for that part. Communication, huge. Now, Gemini is also very adaptable. So it's going to be like, oh, today I believe in this, tomorrow I believe in that. Oh, my philosophy in this is this, and now I don't believe in that. Oh, I agree with this country today, and now I agree with that country. It is so back and forth. Get ready for that in communication. Get ready for that. Now, then you have broadening your horizons when it comes to Okay, first of all, Jupiter in Gemini is in detriment. Okay, let me just show you this chart. Okay, if you look here, this is normally where Jupiter's home is, right? In the ninth house. I'm just how I'm explaining to you. When you go across the sea, across the pond, this is Gemini energy. They are complete opposites, but they're on the same axis, right? So when you have it on the same axis and they're complete opposite, it's like Gemini is like, I am not comfortable in this house. We don't see eye to eye. Gemini is like, this is not my home. And matter of fact, I don't agree with anything in here. Okay. That's basically what you get. So you get this uncomfortable energy because Jupiter is very big and is very broad and is very expansive. And Gemini is a very logical energy. It's like, okay, let's narrow it down. Let's narrow. And Jupiter's like, why are we narrowing down things here? And Gemini's like, what? So you're going to get that tug of war energy within this year, but it's okay. They both deal with learning. Okay, a lot of learning. You might, if you are starting an online class, teaching it, go ahead. You better start it. Because Jupiter and Gemini, the people are going to buy it. People are going to be so into learning, whether it's at home, whether it's a workshop, whether it's a class. You're going to get this higher learning and early learning. That is what Gemini is, early learning. Jupiter is the higher learning. So you get that, and it's going to broaden your horizons mentally, intellectually. Huge with intellectual expansion, huge with learning. Okay. So all the classes, guess what? You guys are going to be signing up for it. I'm not a prophet. I am not a psychic. I'm telling you, I'm just reading the stars. Okay. So get ready for intellectual growth and learning and curiosity. Now, Gemini also represents our community. So the community will be big. What does your community look like? How is your community going to affect you? Your neighbors. Why are your neighbors such a big deal this year? Like, why are you hanging out? Why are you doing functions in your community? Why are you doing functions with your neighbors? Is there a barbecue, a block party? Maybe you're organizing a huge block party. That's Jupiter and Gemini. Okay. Also, Jupiter and Gemini is dealing with anything with your day to day transportation. Remember, Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. Whenever they say Mercury retrogrades, they're like, you get in car accidents, social media fails, technology fails. Okay, so wait, I see some comments on here. Hello, Queen, Queen into the house. Hello, my Leo. Yes, welcome, Queen. I think that's so funny. She's writing a comment, and Queen is in the house. I think it's funny because I know that she's like Leo energy, so very fitting. Welcome, Queen, to the live now. Jupiter and Gemini, highways, railroads, bikes. How do you get to your destination day to day? Now, let's see what happens with that. Okay. Are there going to be more highways? Oh, here's one with the neighborhoods. Are the 15-minute cities? I've been hearing about that. Is that going to be bigger? Are those going to be more of those? And because this is going to affect you good and bad. Okay. So, like downtown area where I live now, they have shut down. There's 2 lanes. They shut one down for buses, and the bus comes once every hour. So it's bumper to bumper traffic. That is a Jupiter and Gemini energy. Okay. Are the people going to be like, no, we need more lanes? Or are they going to reduce the lanes? Like your day to day commute, let's see how that's going to be affected within this year. Your community, let's see how that's going to be affected this year. And Jupiter is going to be hitting Saturn in a negative aspect, and Saturn wants control. It's dealing with government. Y'all don't hear me. Government control over your day-to-day traveling, government control over your the railroads, the highways, your cycling, your neighborhood, your community. Okay. Not a psychic. Just get ready for that. Okay. I talk about all that and I'll get more into it. But remember everything Gemini discussed earlier, the superficialness, not getting deep, too much information, too much gossip. Just get ready for all that. Okay. Yes. So that is what we have for Jupiter and Gemini. And also on the 27th, we have, let's see, let me pull up my chart for the 27th. And let's see what we have here. Okay, on the 27th. Okay. Yeah, so the moon will be entering Aquarius. And look, the moon will be touching at Pluto. It happens, okay? And there'll be some healing, there'll be some deepness going on, okay? Get ready for that. Maybe with you'll feel some energy for the collective and the people and humanitarians and human rights. That could be happening, but whenever you have the moon in the sign Aquarius, there's innovative thinking and feelings emotionally, because it's not thinking, it's really emotion. And maybe the feeling of being independent and you want your own space, or you want to do something different. You want to get out of the house, maybe socialize and emotionally detach. Intellectual engagement, there's rebellion, inflexibility, over emphasis of rationality. You get that too. Disregard for emotions and what does my intellectual think? What does my intellectual feel? That is what you get when the moon will enter the sign Aquarius. And then when the moon will be touching its Pluto, and when it touches the Pluto, let me see. When it touches the Pluto there, not there, but the 27th more is when you will feel it. Emotionally healing, getting into the deep dark secrets of Aquarius, maybe technology. Ooh, okay. Or a group, dealing with a group and some friendships, and there's some healing there, and there's some emotional energy. Remember, anytime something's conjunct, it's either good or bad, okay? But it is strong. So you do have that. And that is what you get on the 28th. Wait, but am I still on the 27th? On the 27th, though, you also have Venus, and Venus is going to sextile Saturn. Where's my Saturn? Here it is. Well, Venus is not 18 degrees. Why do I have this on the 27th? Venus sextiling Saturn. No, I feel like that's wrong. Venus will not sextile. No, okay. Sorry about that. Wait, but let me see why did I have that in my notes? I don't know why I have that in my notes. Okay, so we'll skip that. Oh, Memorial Day happens, first of all, on what day does Memorial Day happen? Memorial Day happens on the 27th. You guys, I'm wondering what was the mistypo that I had here. Venus, 4 degrees. Nothing's in 4 degrees. This is how I do it, you guys. This is how I look out through the week. You see anything in 4 degrees? Anything in 6 degrees? No, I didn't miss anything here. Okay. Venus will be conjunct that sun coming up, though. So get ready for that. Huge love, highlighting relationships. Okay. So you may be feeling that a little bit on the 27th there. Even though you have that moon that will be in Aquarius, so you won't be as attached, but huge with socializing. Who's going to a social event on the 27th or the 28th or the 29th? Let me know. Okay. Yeah, I think it's probably Mercury. Yes, Mercury. Here we go. Mercury is going to sextile Saturn. Okay. Mercury in the sign. So I had a typo. Mercury in the sign Taurus is going to sextile Saturn. Remember, I told you Mercury in Taurus is giving the hardcore evidence, right? Mercury represents commerce, so finances. And what else is Mercury? Talking in very realistic way, and taking your time, and thinking about your resources, right? So all that in that sign Mercury is working with realism, okay, with the father figure, with limits. This is a great time to really work with things you have to work with in the long term, especially when it comes to things that are a little cloudy, or it doesn't have boundaries. This tangible item here, and you thinking in a very physical way, is going to really work well with this. Now, sextile is something that is like you have to put in the work, like you have to actually do the work, but it will, once you do the work, it's going to work out in your favor. Okay. But Saturn is the father figure. It's the one that's setting the limits. It's very cold, it's very rigid, and but it's positive. Okay. So the rules, the government, the restrictions, all that in this Pisces energy that's dealing with your intuition and spirituality, or the collective and love and oneness, are things that are very secretive or in the dark. All that is going to work very well with that Mercury and your thinking and your communication. Okay. And it's dealing with something, and it all depends on where it is in your chart, but it's dealing with something that's tangible. Okay. and like your resources. I say, um, whatever that project is that you have to work on, this is the details. It's going to work really good with details and very precise things. So, like, I can only speak for myself and like what I do. So, for example, if I was working on my calendar, my astrology calendar for the next year, that would be a great day to work on it. Okay, something like that. Okay. But also dealing with that spirituality, something you can't touch, is really working really well, okay, with that, because Saturn is all about stability and practicality and responsibility, okay, and so it's going to strengthen your clarity, your mentality, and your communication, okay, and processing information, okay. Yes. Okay. So that's what we have. Now, on that same day, Memorial Day happens. And I love to explain why we have holidays, especially when we're talking about the sun calendar on that date. And so Memorial Day happens. It's first of all, Memorial Day is in America. I don't know if they celebrate anywhere else, but in America, it's when we observe um, military. Memorial Day is when we observe. I'm trying to see if I wrote it down here. The first large-scale observance of Decoration Day was held May 30th, 1868 at Arlington National Cemetery. So we honor people who died in the military, okay? And the first day we did it was on May 30th, 1868. Now, the national holiday became official in 1971, and it became a federal government holiday for employees. And it's when we honor and remember and reflect on what was sacrificed as far as in the military and observance and traditions. We have ceremonies, we have parades, okay? A lot of barbecuing. Now, why? Also, we visit cemeteries. There's flag etiquette, like my daughter's a Girl Scout and she lays flags on cemeteries, patriotic duty, energy, and there's a sense of community and family. Now, why is this in Gemini? So, Gemini is the bridge because we're dealing with your community, but it's also the bridge. The Mercury is the bridge between the underworld and the world above the underworld, right? So you're bridging your past to your present. You have that. There's historical connection with that. Now it's communicating legacy. That's why Gemini is during Gemini season. But really, if you guys know anything about Memorial Day is the day that everybody barbecues. And why do we barbecue? I don't know if you guys are watching, you're from America. There's a lot of socializing and talking. So if you are going to a barbecue on Memorial Day, you are dealing with some major Gemini energy, okay? And Venus will be in Gemini too. Everybody gonna be talking, okay? Yes, but cooking and talking, but talking, okay? Also, there's parades, and parades is very social and very outdoors. It's very extroverted energy. There's adaptability and observance because you can go to a public event. You can go to a parade. You can just barbecue at home. You can barbecue with your family. It's very like moodable kind of energy. Whatever the energy is swaying is what you have. Also, anytime you're reminiscing over the past, you hear a lot of people telling doing story time. When we do lay the flags at my daughter's thing, she was like, I don't want to go anymore because they talk so much. That's the Gemini. Okay, they did the people who are in the military. They do these long speeches and they're telling these long stories. I mean, it's sad, and yes, I'm respectful for anyone who served and did time. However, there's shared experiences, and that's all that Gemini and storytelling. Okay, so yes, so that is why we have it during Gemini season. Now, next week is going to be a light and positive week, you guys. We have Mercury is going to sextile Saturn. Jupiter is going to trine Pluto. That's big and very positive. And Mercury is going to enter Gemini. When Mercury enters Gemini, get ready for the tea. Get ready for the tea. But we did have some physical evidence. I want to see what more physical evidence we will get while Mercury is in a sign Taurus. I'm actually enjoying this because I was happy to see that video of P. Diddy. And I'm curious to know a little bit more about that plane wreck that we had with their Iran president. I don't know anything about that government, but yeah. Anyone here want me to pull some cards? I can do that for you. Since I'm here, I have about 5 minutes. So if you want me to pull any tarot cards while I'm here for you guys, I can do that for you. But first, let me just do a collective reading for everyone um, who is watching this video. What do we have for this full moon in Sagittarius? For you, what do we have with this full moon in Sagittarius for you? Oop. Okay, here we go. Ooh, with the full moon in Sagittarius, get ready for a new journey. Yes, Queen, go ahead and ask your question real quick. But yes, get ready for a new journey. Expect the unexpected. That's very Uranus. Pack light. Okay, have faith and be optimistic because you don't know what you're in for. And then, when it comes to love, when it comes to God's giving you something new in the love department, God's giving you something new when it comes to spirituality, God's giving you something new when it comes to relationships, okay? And not just relationships with like love, just compassion and love. Compassion, not like a love like my boyfriend and girlfriend or husband and wife. This is relationships and love across the board, okay? All right, so that's what we have for the full moon. Let me do one real quick and then I'll do Queen. Let me do a reading of what other ingress do we have? Jupiter in Sagittarius. Jupiter in Sagittarius. We have the machetes. We have the 7 machetes in reverse. Okay, so be aware of the lies. Be aware of the sneakiness and deception. Swords represents communication and socializing. So deception or stealing when it comes to that, like people stealing your words, or you stealing people's words, or people lying and stealing or sneaking or being deceptive with their words. Be ready for that, okay, with Jupiter and Gemini. Okay, let me do one for Queen. And then I have to go. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Queen says she just wants a general reading. Okay, we have the King of Cups in reverse. Okay, so that's okay. Queen of Cups in reverse, Queen, is I don't know if there is a man who is a water sign in your life. He's a little off balance. Okay. He is being emotionally immature. It could be a Cancer, it could be a Pisces or a Scorpio. He is either emotionally immature, or he's not doing the healing, he's not doing the work, he's not going deep, or he could be someone who is very confused and lost in the sauce, someone who could be addicted to some type of substance or use escapism in some way, like someone who just watches Netflix and doesn't want to really face with reality. Also, the King of Cups in reverse could be someone who is not facing reality themselves, or someone who is trying to escape and just be in the dark, or someone who is alone and lonely kind of energy, not alone in a good way, lonely. Okay. What else do we have with this? Let me see what else. Um, family life, home life, not good, not productive, lacking love. Okay, lacking self-love, lacking love for others. What else do we have? Cup not runneth over. Overly emotional, impulsively emotional. What else do we have? Now let me see what you can do to work with that. I'm trying to think that I get everything. Someone who doesn't want to go deep, doesn't want to do the healing, someone who needs to get psychological help, someone who is too jealous, someone who is too controlling. Yes, okay. I hope that resonated so far. And wow. Okay, here we go. There needs to be some releasing. I didn't say wow because I thought like, oh, are all the cards in reverse? They're not. It wasn't towards this card. But I'm saying this is a 4 of Cups. So there needs to be some releasing. You're holding on too tight, physically holding on too tight to something. This is the 4 of Pentacles. The 4 of Pentacles usually means like save money, save your resources, but this is a releasing of something, okay? And releasing something tangible. This could be like, maybe this makes me think of like a Scorpio, or someone who's very possessive and controlling of their power and their resources, and you owe them money, and it's saying to release the resource. Like, you need to let it go, Queen. You need to release, like if he pays your rent, move. You don't need him to pay your rent. If he, whatever it is, whatever physical thing he is paying for or using you for or holding you to, it's time to release it. Okay, this is something physical, so it's something your body. This is something tangible. It could be taxes, loans, debts, something that way. Okay. I hope that made sense. But that is what we have for your reading. Let me know if that resonated with you, Queen. Did that resonate with you? Or do you have any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, so my daughter has a soccer game and I have to hurry up and go to it. Let go a life lesson. Yes, yes, let go and a life lesson. Life lesson for all of us, and all of us need a constant reminder of letting go things that are very tangible because we were not born with it. We are born just ourselves. We don't have any physical things with us, but for some reason we hold on to physical items unnecessarily, and God did put them here to appreciate them. However, we don't need to own them. Okay. Anyway, I hope everyone enjoyed, and thank you for being here. Thank you, Queen, for always showing up and showing out. I really enjoy you. And yes, next week I will be back. And if you want a reading, I will do a reading for you. If you are on the podcast and you want a reading, go ahead, email me, DM me, however you can contact me. The information will be down below, and I will do it live in the next reading. All right. I will see you guys next time. Bye.